Yeah, good evening. It's so nice to see you. Thank you for taking the time to come. Yeah, it's been a while and I miss these conversations. I love people and I love to connect with people. So thank you for taking the time to come. Actually, since we started, some people have been telling me that we need more stories. So maybe in the coming evenings, we shall just sit and just have stories. Tell you some of the stories. Some of you, somebody said that some of our generations are called let me see how they call it. BCC or something like this. BBC, yeah, BBC, before the birth of computers or something like that. yeah. So maybe you need to hear how were we communicating, how were we dating.
Okay.
Hey, yeah, because I remember the first girl that I got a crush over. Now you're all looking at me like, huh? So I wrote a letter, posted it, and had to wait for the postman or the post office to kind of get what she would say. Yeah, but these days you guys just WhatsApp or send a text message. Life made easy, right? Yeah, so maybe you would have to hear those stories. But for this evening, really, I was first of all thinking about the importance of us being together, coming together. And my daughter recently brought a jigsaw puzzle. Yeah, jigsaw puzzle, and like putting those small pieces together to make the story of what the person had. You have to look at the cover and know the story, and then you have to create those pieces to correspond to the cover. So I was thinking, like, many times when we isolate ourselves, it's just like picking that little piece and you walking around with it. It doesn't make meaning, it doesn't add up to anything. But once we connect our stories, and especially connect them with the big story of God, because all our stories are a small piece or puzzle of God's purpose for life. So every moment of us meeting together and talking about life, talking about realities, reflecting on them with God in mind, because we say we do theology. All of us are theologians, as you may know. And then we have to deal with that, right? So I wanted you to know that and respect the fact that you are here to reflect on reality, to reflect on theologically, and also make some responses about those realities. But especially when you are not isolated, when you are not alone. Life likes to take us away from others. When you are hit, you just want to be in your room, close off every noise, and in fact think that that's when you will make sense. But most of the time when you come out and hear Christine or hear Solange or hear Judith and hear their stories, and also especially if you know the story of God, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So for today, we are going to be looking at one of the other articles that I've written. You know, like when you do work and you are in love with your own work, it's so beautiful, yeah? Yeah, so I love the articles. I write them, but then I love them and I read them and I'm like, who did this, who wrote this? Because by the time I write, I have an inspiration. And once I start writing, it just keeps coming. So I want us to share that inspiration today, which was about whether you are reactionary or responsive. Yeah? Are you reactionary or responsive? So we'll be reading that story together, and then we'll be looking at it. You guys will give me your comments, your remarks. Maybe if you can let it in your stages of life, then we can do that. Okay? But I wanted to start with my own piece of story again. So like I lived in a suburb of Kampala called Kawempe, okay? Kawempe is like 5 miles from Kampala city. And there was a time when there were armed fighters who wanted to topple the government, and they would come and shoot and root and rape. So every time they would come, they would be shooting, and you hear the gunshots, and everybody runs away. So there was this time they came, and we could hear the group of people running and panicking and shouting and all that. So my dad had a shop on the street, and there was a taxi park on that street. So we all wanted to close the shop so that they don't steal the things. And as we were closing the shop, I hit this hand on something, I think, and then the shot went. So my hand was like, felt paralyzed. And I was like, oh, I've been shot, I've been shot. You should have seen me. I have been shot. So my arm was like this, and my father and others were crowding around me. They put me down, they checked, and there was nothing, there was no evidence. I think one of the, I don't know whether they are, nerves? Yeah, maybe nerves. One of the nerves was kind of like the one affected, and it got numbed. So I thought it was a gunshot. And I was, panicking around, and I created quite a scene there. Yeah, and then like 2 days later, now they came in big mobs, and they were shouting, and we all ran. Yeah, some of you are saying, Elder, you can't run. Come on, we ran, I'm telling you. Because, and then you can't even like respond appropriately, because it's a panic mode generally. When you want to slow down, you hear a gunshot. So you keep going. You are just moving on impulse. You are moving on impulse. There's no time to assess whether you still have energy or not. So we moved from that place, Kawempe, to Kamocha. That's about maybe 15 kilometers, maybe thereabout. And nobody was realizing that I need water, I need anything, because you are just being propelled by your reflexes and your reactions. And then when we came back, when he came back, my father didn't come back, my mom didn't come back, and my sister didn't come back. So we couldn't sleep. We were wondering, have they been killed? What has actually happened? And then that was one night. Second night, remember, there was no communication. You can't call, they have no phones. The third night, and then we had to make decisions. None of us was working, but we had to make decisions if we should just be there crying and kind of confused, or whether we should try to make a way to live. So I took over the shop, and we started making sure that we are alive. And you know what happened? When they went, they reached a place where the zone was cut off. So they could not come back. So they just continued to the village, and there was no communication. So for 1 year, I did not know whether my father is alive, whether my mother is alive, whether my sister is alive. Until the government was toppled and there was communication. That's when we learned that they are actually alive, and they had gone to the village. So think about that. We started with being reactive, and we had to respond to the situation and take appropriate measures to make sure we are alive, to make sure that maybe if they are also alive, we will meet again. So sometimes you live in situations where it's maybe this will be this, and you keep going. You keep faith and hope and keep going. Yeah, so there could be more of those kind of stories where you're living in a life where you must move out of the panic zone and go into a prepared kind of mode. Yeah. So our article is kind of related to that, and for today we will have Winnie read it to us, And as she reads, let me give you a little instruction. You can look out a phrase or a sentence or something that you feel connects with your spirit, and then talk back to us after that. But for now, Winnie is going to read for us that article. I hope each one of you has it. Yes? Yeah? So if we are ready, we'll give the platform to Winnie to read for us that article.
Okay. Are you reactionary or responsive? I have lately been thinking about reaction and response and what determines either or both. We grew up in those days where teachers caned us for any reason. Your shirt is not tucked in, your hair is not combed, you failed a number in math, you did not greet the teacher or even get beaten without attributing to any reason. This teacher would slap you and ask you, "Was it you I heard shouting in class?" If you say, "No, teacher, it was not me," he slaps you again and says, "Then who was it?" By now, you're wondering why you should say the person, since you have already been punished. The caning or slapping is not what I am thinking about. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about the boy that never cried after a heavy caning, about another that would scream even before the cane touches him, or the girl that just stopped school running away from these beatings. However, beyond these reactions or responses to pain, I'm thinking about what determined these responses or reactions. Who will cry? Who won't cry? Who will abandon school? Who will commit suicide? Who will hope? Who will succeed in life? What is triggering their reactions and eventually their long-term response? I was discussing with a psychology student friend of mine, and she told me screaming after a cane is a reaction. It's a reflex. But what you do to stop being caned or to prepare for future caning comes after contemplation and forms your response. I have concluded that life is a can of troubles. They come in physical or even emotional pains, releasing immediate reaction. Hey, do not judge anybody for their reactions. It's a reflex. Join them if you can provide comfort. People at the stage of reaction do not care about reason. The reflexes are louder than your logical diagnosis. Your ability to enter their emotional space and hang in there with them is good enough. Very few people will actually be permitted to cross into that emotional space. It's guarded by fragile feelings. Sometimes there is no need for you to speak or prescribe what needs to happen. My deeper concern though is response. Pain and trouble can destroy marriage, career, and character. People will ease their pain by drugs, excitements, omissions, and commissions of certain things. These are merely reactionary, and if we build on our reactions to inform our long-term responses, we go down the rabbit hole and get trapped in there. What then helps us make proper response? And my answer is the bedrock. By bedrock, here, I'm looking at the innermost basis of your belief system that will allow you to have faith and hope against hope. Your world view is everything. If to you the world is self-propelling and things just happen, then you lose to trace any place for hope. If it's all about medical science and facts, then you lose the place for a miracle where science stops. If you believe in miracles and deny the role of science, then even malaria, with all the available drugs, will kill you. Most of what we see on land are deposits. This is why anybody that wants to build a strong foundation will scrap off all these deposits till they hit the rock or the bedrock. From that bedrock, the builders begin to put other stones for the foundation. Jesus told a story of two builders, one who built on the sand, the other who built on the rock. Strangely, they both got their kinds of troubles: floods, rain, and wind. I'm sure they both reacted to the sound, the cold, the lightning, etc. However, the story tells us the builder upon the sand could not respond appropriately or withstand. He or she fell and shattered. The one on the rock, on the other hand, withstood. They were strong at the core, and they were built on a firm foundation. Let us get out of parables. If you are faced with a terrible illness, either upon you or your loved ones, your reaction can change from sorrow to sadness or worry. Your response, though, can be to trust God, seek professional medical help, and be a source of encouragement. These build hope and strong faith and peace of mind that allows you to withstand. Jesus told Peter that he will build his church on Petra, or bedrock, and the gates of hell cannot prevail against it. If you go on the sand, then you usher in panic, anxiety, and frustration. Troubles have a tendency to wash away debris in form of temporal sources of joy and happiness. And if you don't build on the rock that the builders rejected, you stumble and fall. Come on now. It is raining hard and flooding a lot. Let us remove the surface deposits, the things we have been taught by bad culture and peer influence, physical challenges, or even worldviews. Let us dig it out and return to the foundations of repentance and faith towards God. Isaiah said, "Behold, I lay a foundation, he who believes will not be put to shame." To all of you, my young friends, this is another stage. Dig deeper, find the rock, the cornerstones, which are these timeless truths, and build on those. Unfortunately, I don't have a package that is pain and trouble-free. Jesus could not find any either. He thus submitted, "In the world you will have trouble. To these troubles, react according to your reflex. Cry if you must, mourn the losses, but turn around and count your loss. Scan your options, assess what is left, and make a comeback. Respond in the second half with strategies that come from believing that even reality is shaped by faith and trust in the bedrock from which you were cut. I do not judge the reactions. I do not agree with keeping reactionary. I do suggest that we respond with faith and trust. For some, it takes longer. That's okay. To others, they are quick to turn around. But to all who would want to overcome, there is one option. Reactionism must be a season, not a lifetime. In that season, we come up with a response that is richer, that carries the experience of pain and trouble, that brings out a better version. We are building on a bedrock. Troubles can't hit it and carve in. They are softer than the bedrock itself.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yeah. How was that? Yeah? It's deep, right? Yeah. There are many things. Yeah. But generally, we're saying that trouble cans, I hope you get that. Yeah? The word throws to us those trouble cans. And then I said that if you're on the bedrock, they carve in and you move on. So now it's your time. Maybe I will ask Solange to start us off with her reflection. Just break the ice for everybody. And then you all, I'm sure, will have something to say.
Thank you so much, Elder Eugene. I think what I like most for this article, two things I can mention now. The first one is that it acknowledges that reaction is not actually a bad thing. And it's natural, it's normal. You will have to react. Under pressure, under shock and panic, you will have to react. Then it tells you, but you don't want to dwell in the reaction mode. You want to take action. I think that's very important because if I am aware of that, I then am aware of how the process. I'm like, yeah, am I dwelling in the shock and reaction and reflex for long instead of stepping into responding? So that is really a good thing, acknowledging both and knowing how the place for each. Then secondly, when you read through, it seems like this reaction response thing is very much connected to the core of who you are. And in this article, the language that is used is the foundation. What is the foundation? What is your foundation? And even more interestingly, it shows that you have to build a foundation, which makes it very challenging because whether you respond or react depends on the work done beforehand of building the foundation. And then two different perspectives. One is it talks where the foundation built by Christ, but then there's another one, the one in Matthew, I believe, Matthew 7, the wise builder, the foolish builder. That one gives me and you the responsibility to be the ones building. And how do we build? By doing what the words of Jesus say what Jesus says, putting his words in action, in practice. And that's very challenging, but in a nutshell, whether I respond or react, it depends on the foundation I have built in my life. Yes.
Yeah, that's beautiful, honestly. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's a good perspective. The foundation Christ has laid, but you build as well on it, okay? Yeah? Yeah, do you have someone that wants to respond? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. What I also got from the article is everyone responds or reacts differently. We might be in the same situation or have the same problem, but depending on who we are or how we are built, we respond differently or we react differently in that same situation. And we are put in a situation where we are not to judge the other person for reacting the way they did, because we are all different and we react differently.
Wow.
And we should learn how to live with other people that react differently from us. And also in the process, we all learn from one another to know how to respond to the problem that we're facing. Thank you.
Wow, that's really good, yeah. Because for me, who is a parent, I see it from like my two daughters, they are all little, but when you come back home, they are all excited, but they show the excitement differently, yeah? So even maybe when they are disappointed, they still show their disappointment differently. So it's just some of the things is personality, and it's like how you're triggered. So it's like you say, it's not good to judge, really. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Questions, additions? Yeah, Caleb, yes.
Thank you. I highlighted one sentence that says, what is triggering their reactions and eventually their long-term responses. So I believe between the time of reaction and response, there is a period of self-discovery. Because before you realized actually what made you react like that, you will not make a sound decision for the response. So after all, no one is going to live impulsively, like the story told us. They couldn't keep on running impulsively until when. So they had to reach a point and, look back and think about what they left, who they left, and come back. So in the same way, I think, surely if a person does not take time for self-discovery and analyzing the situation that has happened, even the response might as well take them back to the reaction. Yeah.
Exactly. Do you agree that, I think, if I remember correctly, we say that those issues or those troubles and the life is intending to get the better version of you? Do you agree with that? Or some people, when they are hit, they lose even if you may say, the standard they were on, the version they had, and the regrets, it becomes worse. Maybe they can't get out of drugs because, I lost my best friend, I have nobody, and, God doesn't love me. That's not the better version. So then what determines whether somebody actually will say, okay, this has happened, I need to to come out better and put this pain into use, make this pain make me better. I think James will say count it joy or something like that, yeah, and how this can build your endurance, so, it's something,
So when I read this article, a few things came to my mind, and one of them is, sometimes even when you have learned to respond, you still have some residues of reaction left in you. Because some of the situations that bring us into a place of reaction, some of them are traumatic. They are traumatic. So I'll give you
now
an
you are
example.
being real.
Yes. I'll give you an example of what came to me. So when we were young, where our house was, when it rained, water used to come and enter in our house. And it would really go up to the window level. So
were you shorter than the window level?
I was.
I just wanted to see if then you would start swimming.
Of course, as kids you would want to swim, but they'll tell you, oh, don't. So at one time, Mom would get the bed, and over the bed, we would put a table, and then we would sit there so that we don't drink the water. Now, what it evolved in me as a young child is that whenever it rained, I would want to leave home. Because I didn't have the power to do anything about the water. I'm not God, I'm not going to stop the rain. So I'm just going to be there helpless. So I would want to leave, don't be at home. And I would not sleep when it is raining. Until when I reached high school and started realizing, but this thing stopped. It's no longer raining to that point. The road that was bringing water into our house is made. But still, when it rains, I have trouble sleeping.
Okay. Yeah.
And so you can see I've already entered in my response mode.
Yeah.
But there is some residues. To the point I had to train myself to now, every time it rains, I go out and watch the rain. Like nowadays when it rains, I can sleep. I can go out in the window and watch the rain. But it is something that happens because you have been very systematic. Okay, maybe I am still in a reaction stage. Is there any residue of reaction in me? Because I think once it's still in you, then the trauma is still in your body. Maybe it's not manifesting outside, but still in your body. There's someone who wrote a book and says the body keeps a score of things that cause us to react.
Wow.
So yes, we can get out of the reaction,
yeah.
but also we should look through, don't we still have some residues of the reaction stage? Yeah.
That's really beautiful, yeah. That's a very good point, because sometimes they call them triggers, right? So those things that caused you pain, when something like them happens again, it triggers the same feeling. So you think something similar to that is going to happen again, and so you're right. And then you need to kind of intentionally train your mind, yeah, and program your mind and say, no, this is something in the history that's just coming back. Yeah, easily said than done, right? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Winnie wants to say something.
Yeah, so when I was reading the passage, I was reminded when we were young how we used to be caned. And and for our generation, our mothers and our parents had a very interesting way of punishing us. And when they would cane you, they would really mean business when they're doing that. And when you're trying to cry, if you cry, I will beat you more. I will double the canes. And
if you don't cry?
And if you don't cry, you are disrespectful. So you don't know how to react to the punishment. And if you cry, you're going to get more canes. If you don't, you're disrespectful, you're still going to get more canes. And I take it into the perspective of life, because the life doesn't care if you cry or not. And in my personal opinion, when I face some troubles and I try to react a certain way, most of those emotions they call negative. Cry or get out of the situation or try to be numb about it. The world doesn't care if how you react to the situation. It's going to bring everything that it wants to bring. And so coming back to the reaction and response, when I face some troubles in my life, the way I used to react to the canes comes back to me. And if I'm reacting the negative way, as people say, when you cry or when you get out of that situation or try to numb yourself, I asked myself, am I doing the right thing? Or even when I'm trying to, when people used to say, if they see you cry, or if they see you react a certain way, then you're a failure. You understand? So I think this passage is very important for us, especially young people. I believe that was it wasn't just my parent who,
Yeah.
So I think it's normal for us to react the way we react to things, and I think it's actually better because it brings back it takes you to the response, if I could say. So if I cut that short, I also had a question about the bedrock. So you understand how we are raised, and most of the decisions and reactions we take, it's about how we were brought up as young people. So my question is, how do you shatter all the things that you have built on the bedrock and start over? Thank you.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a deep question. Maybe I'll give you an opportunity, but maybe let me try to see if I can respond to your question. You're building on a bedrock, and this time we've defined our bedrock, right? Like you're trying to create your belief system, the things you believe in, your faith, and what is true, especially as Christians. Because sometimes the reactions mode is not logical. Yeah, you can even say, some people will go to extreme extents, God forbid, to say, I think God doesn't exist, or to doubt whether God is there, or to doubt whether anybody cares. Even people don't love me because you're in the reaction. And then, because you've been established the belief system, like the fruit of the Spirit, yeah, and what you've learned in the Bible and the Christianity, then it comes out to fight against. I think it's Romans 7, which says there's something good in me, but the evil tries to also come. So it's as if there's a fight inside you about something that's coming to push you down the rabbit hole, and then you're hearing again the voice of the truth, It's telling you, no, this is just a season of pain, but God loves you. This is happening because this is what it should be. So another story now, very short, about the subconscious. Yeah, I don't know whether I've told this, but my wife went through a C-section. Yeah, and during that time, they would kind of knock down the whole person. They knock the whole person down. It wasn't that period when now people just, they call it local anesthesia. This time it was everybody. So, and then you have to wake up. You go down, you become unconscious, you wake up. So when you wake up, the story we had, that the stories men used to have, because usually the women go through that a lot. They say that now that's the time you hear the person speaking, not from their conscious, from the subconscious, because they are waking up. So they begin to speak things that they are picking from their subconscious. So the men, especially those who don't trust their wives, me I do, would hang around to hear. Like if the lady is waking up and she's saying, oh, so and so, saying names of other men, or saying or saying other things they do, like, yeah. But my wife, when she was waking up, she said, give way, the daughter of the Most High is passing. And I was like, oh, then she said, you listen to this one. She said, Jesus first, then my husband. So that was the subconscious. So anyway, why I say that is the things you put in your subconscious, we come out at those moments. They come to fight for you. Yeah, that's the bedrock. They come to fight for the truth, you know. They come to fight for you, and they speak to you in a person. Yeah, does that help?
And maybe if you add something small,
yeah.
Whatever you store,
Sorry, yeah.
Thank you very much. It's just a small addition that what you feed your soul or your conscious, your soul, whatever you put in your soul will always come out in that sense. So that's why what you watch, what you listen to will always either build you up or destroy you. So in that sense, you are cautioned, you're encouraged to really find a way to feed your soul with with things that builds you up.
Yeah.
That's why they tell us to read the Word of God as it's food. Eat the Word of God. As you eat it, somewhere it will deliver. It will help you in that season when you can't help yourself.
Yeah.
And all those things, whatever pain you have, let me just encourage you that the pain, the challenges, the issues of life and cares of life, it's actually your gift pack. That in a due season, that gift pack will be your bonus, will be your profit. It will profit you. That's the word, short of words. It will profit you. So especially young people, I love you. Let's remember that the soul eats. The soul has life, and that whatever you give, your soul will come out and will give you life. So I encourage you to find things that will grow your soul.
Good.
In the due course, it will profit you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah. Come on, you wanted to say something? Yeah. Okay. Good. Right.
So for me, I come to learn 3 lessons, which are practical, I think, to me. One is reaction are natural, but responses require reflection. So, though some troubles, some trials might come, but we need to learn how to respond to them. And the second lesson is, I said, strong foundation shapes health responses. So our responses will depend on where we are built on. So once we are in Christ and we are rooted in prayers and God's word, so our responses to some troubles and difficult situations, that will be, I think it will be well. And empathy matters more than logic in crisis moments. So when we are facing some crisis moments, I think we are more we have to care a lot than being more logical or bringing some analysis, so many analyses. Yeah, those are 3 lessons that I learned from the article.
Great. Yeah.
For me, this was an interesting article in the way that when I was reading it in the morning, I realized that personally, growing up, I don't feel like I was that of either response or reaction person. I think I was a numb person. And then as I grow up, I realized that those things are coming back as we grow up in our old age. I can say in our old age. And I know my elder is gonna say, but yeah, in our old age. And this morning when I was reading it, I was like, some of the reactions when I was a kid are coming up now. But then how I react, I don't react like a kid. I react like a grown-up lady who should have reacted like a baby a long time ago, but now I'm doing it now, and it's embarrassing, you know. And it's embarrassing in some way because I don't have words to put in it. But also, along the way, meeting people, discussing with a lot of therapists, they keep reminding, especially the Christian people and also the community, really, where the article says, check the culture and the peers. So the peers really, I came to realize they matter. That was a reminder from this thing. But also, do they remind you that what you're reacting or your reactions actually matter, or your reactions are not because you're silly or stupid, but it's because of the space that you're in. And then I was also reminded of how she said that the foundation matters, who you believe into, but also the core and the person that you run to, either within the reaction moment or within whether you want to respond, or I don't know, the other person that you think about, who comes first in your mind, helps you to go to give a better response. Not to numb your feelings, not to feel like you're stupid in the community, not to feel like you're out of the people, your peers league, or I know, out of league, not because you're cool, not because you're like the most educated person, but because you're actually reacting in a way other people don't, you know. So you're different. I realize that our reactions, our differences, actually who we are, and they matter, and as the story of the sand and the rock, I used to see that story in the Bible, and I'd be like, it's the story for the builders and for those who are planting churches. I'd be like, those who are planting churches be like, you have to pray, let your church be on the foundation. But no, really, our anxieties and the depression and the pressure, all the things, those can also be described as the sand. And the core the core and the foundation actually gives us the reason and gives us the direction and the thinking and the validations in our lives. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah. Okay, you came again, and then I come in a bit after you. Yeah.
I just want to read a short section that has to do with what she said, which says, it's people at the stage of reaction do not care about reason. The reflexes are louder than your logical diagnosis.
Wonderful.
Your ability to enter their emotional space and hang in there with them is good enough. Very few people will actually be permitted to cross into that emotional space. It's guarded by fragile feelings. Sometimes there is no need for you to speak or to prescribe what needs to happen. Now, I know these are deep words and you are hearing so many different things. I think for me, the homework is what kind of person am I when it comes to the person who is reacting? Because I'm really struck by this thing. Very few people are permitted to cross into that emotional space. So if a person comes to you and they're reacting, or you find yourself in their space when they're reacting, you are among the few, or you're the only one who is permitted.
You might be the only one.
You might be the only one. And this is a challenge, and I will leave it there for everyone to to get what they need to get from it.
I think that really speaks into it. I wanted to kind of like come back to some few things I wanted to highlight around this. After that, we can pray for each other a bit, and then we can keep talking and conversing and hang around here. But the first thing I want to say is, it's okay not to be okay. Okay? It's okay not to be okay. Because okay is defined by culture, sometimes, or by people whose experience is different from yours in terms of your own feelings and your own emotions and what you're going through. Nobody else is going through exactly that. Yeah, so for you to be able to honor your emotions in the short run, I must add, in the short run, it's okay not to be okay. And because we see Jesus crying, for instance, yeah, Jesus crying. Yeah, I was saying before I came here, I was seeing a journalist was interviewing a politician in Uganda who went to visit a friend who was going through a hard situation. And then the journalist said, presidential campaigns are coming and you are campaigning to be a president and you cried. And then this guy said, in Uganda, he said, there's a difference between yenge yenge and amaziga. But basically, like, your eyes becoming wet and you tearing down, like. But he was basically trying to refuse that he cried. He was saying that his eyes got wet. because the culture is saying, if you're going to be a leader, don't cry, something like that. I mean, it's strange. It's very strange the way we define these things. But I really want to give you permission to be you and express this, because once you don't do that, you actually do it differently. You get it? Because when you push it back, it will still manifest by other behaviors. Yeah? You will not be answering calls, you will not be talking to people, you will do other things. Yeah? But when you do it, you are healing. So it's okay not to be okay. Number 2, you can reset. You can reset, because this not being okay can continue into what we call the rabbit hole, where you keep going down until you can't find yourself. So to reset, the Bible teaches us, renew your mind. Renew your mind. Intentionally renew your mind so that you may know what is good and the perfect will of God. Renew your mind, like come back, try to come back, to bring back your mind, read a psalm, speak with the person, yeah? Do something, find some things to do that allow you to come back, okay? And then the last one, it's not okay to be, it's not okay not to be okay in the long run. The other one was in the short run, but in the long run, it's not okay not to be okay in the long run. So you need to define who you are. Define who you are. Who you are. I see some people that are aspiring to be doctors. Someone told me, which I really liked, is that you are not a doctor, you are not a teacher, or you are not an engineer. At first I said, what are you talking about? He said, no, that's what you do. It's not what you are. So who actually are you? The words that can define you are like, I'm a loving, kind doctor. That's why one doctor, everybody will come and they want one doctor, they don't want the other. It's because of who they are at the core, right? They found who they are and they've shaped that to create a competitive edge for them. So, and those are not the professions, are not the work-related things. It's the inner you. So you can be a generous, say me, I'm a generous pastor. Yeah, because if you're just a pastor, I mean, it doesn't mean anything, really. It doesn't mean anything. You're just an elder. It doesn't mean anything. But if you are a caring, loving, or compassionate, those values are the ones that make you, and then you always create them as your reference. Once the hard things and the trouble cards shoot you, say, oh, they are taking me from who I am. You're always carving back, bringing them back to your own reference. So basically, in concluding, there are things that will come, and in the short term we react, sometimes badly, weirdly, and we do all kind of tough things. If you are the one going through that, it's okay. If you are not the one, it's okay for the other person to go through that. It's okay for the other person to go through that. But we know that if we build on a good foundation, if inside us we have those values, they will define us, and we will come back with a better version of us. Yeah? A better version of us will come out, and we will win. We'll be victors. Yeah. So that's what we had today for our story. You have a question? Okay, let's do the question. Yeah, but basically, let's do the question. But in a nutshell, we can do the questions. But in a nutshell, that's what we really wanted to look at. Are you reactionary? Are you responsive? And we are saying yes, we all are reactionary, but we respond, and we respond according to our belief system. Yes, Donna.
Yes.
Yeah, come. Yeah.
I wanted to say thank you so much. That was very powerful. You mentioned that it's important to discover who you are.
Yes.
And then to develop that. And
Yes.
when hard times come, you reference your values and who you are.
Yes.
But in this world where everyone is always constantly speaking into you, telling you are this, you are that. You have opinions from all around. I wanted to ask, how would it be possible to tune out the noise and actually discover who you truly are? Yes.
That's powerful. Yeah. Does anybody want to come on that? Yeah. Let's give Pastor Sam to speak into that. The noise.
I think one good thing that helps us is when we realize that not everyone deserves a word in our life. For the most part, many people don't even deserve our attention. Allow me to explain what I mean. So think about a person who is somewhere in Hungary or in Budapest, like people outside your immediate circle. They don't really have a good grasp of what you're going through. Like, they don't really have a good grasp of your life, your friends, your circle, your circumstance. And for those people, they can speak, you can listen, but they should not be allowed to be the voices in your life. And it's unfortunate for our generation, the Gen Z or any other generation, that we have so many voices. Some of them, we walk with them in our phones. Even when you're about to sleep, we put them on and they talk to us. And like it's as if we have constant voices in our heads, in our minds. And when you really... Like one time I was listening to a podcast and I listened to what this guy was saying. Like, it makes no sense for a person like me in Rwanda. He's saying the prices of things that are not, the opportunities that don't really make sense for a person here. So, the big struggle, but which will pay you well, is to know which voices even deserve your attention. Which voices deserve your attention. The biggest voice for any person listening or watching us is the voice of the scriptures. And that's when you never go wrong.
Yeah.
You have the voice of the Holy Spirit that is speaking to you. Now you have the voice of a few good people that you know and you trust. The rest of other voices should be really studied before you can allow them to speak into our hearts. Like, we should really care about who we allow to speak to us. Not every voice deserves an ear or even attention.
Yeah, great. Yeah, Nola?
I can just add like two things. In this world, everybody is struggling. And everybody is going through something. I feel like sometimes people are projecting. They're just projecting what's inside to you, not because they actually want you to do that, but because they wish they could have the opportunity to do that. And they just, because you are in the space of them manipulating and taking advantage of your young self and of the space that you're in, and then they pour out the words. So, like how some say, the only voice that matters is the voice from God, but also some people just, I think, having this in mind, that some people have this image that they didn't succeed, they want you to portray. That's what I think. I feel like some people have this image, like, I would love this person to walk like this. No. They would love, but what do you love? What are your steps? I would love this person to go in using this left turn. No, that's not where you're going. Your direction is right. So I feel like always we should, I think they call it kuyungurura, filtering. Know that, is this person projecting, or whatever they're saying, actually, I didn't do this thing, or I've never actually experienced this thing. They might be projecting, or the image that people want you to have is not the image that you want. People want you to be a doctor, you want to be a musician or an artist. That is so different, you know. So actually, not in that way of education, but also know that the voice that the words that people actually come out of some people are mostly projection of what they are going through and what they are feeling.
Wow. Yeah. So, thank you, guys. We can continue, actually. I just wanted to remind us that here we face reality, we reflect theologically, and we make responses. And some of the words we are speaking here, already they are informing you how to respond. And I'm beginning to call these sage means old wisdom, soul stories. Soul, like the soul, sage soul stories. I like to speak from the soul. And you all bring here your souls. Let's have a soul conversation, right? And